welcome to my MagicCon Amsterdam 2026 reflection video. I am Hendrik and let me take you along to Amsterdam to MagicCon and the best moments that I experienced during the con.
Oh, cool.
You're talking Plan 9? Oh, I mean he's a prodigy by now. Yeah, that's awesome. Is he here?
4 bears. We are here.
That's mine.
I upkeep and I draw.
Return that to your...
Briefly about me, I started Magic with Ice Age in the 90s, then I had a very long break when I moved to Finland, and then 5 years ago I picked it up again and started Commander with my son, and I have been playing Commander Standard and a couple of other formats since then. This has been my first MagicCon ever, and I've been attending different kind of cons like RoboCon over here in Finland, and I need to say MagicCon was on a whole different level and it was absolutely amazing. I really had the time of my life. It was super cool to engage with all the people, participate in events. But let's start at the beginning. I knew pretty quickly once MagicCon Amsterdam was announced that I want to go there, and my aim was actually to go with my son. Sadly, he was on a summer camp, so I couldn't take him, but next year looks a lot more promising, so I think we'll be going as father and son over there and have, I'm pretty sure, the time of our lives. I did buy the legendary VIP badge and I bought it in the window when it was still a bit cheaper, around 350 euros. I paid for it. I have a separate video about that. It's linked up there in the right corner if you're curious about it. And I paid around 500 euros for my flight from Finland to Amsterdam and back. I had no accommodation costs because I was very lucky that I have an aunt who lives in the center of Amsterdam. And I also was able to loan one of her bikes to cycle to the con, so that was super convenient. And as I am a lifelong cyclist and really love to cycle, I was so happy to be able to jump for 10-15 minutes in the morning on the bike to cycle to the con, and then in the evenings cycle back to my aunt. I decided also pretty early on I want to play events with people like Gavin Verhey, the Commander at Home crew, and a couple of others. And I was, the moment events launched, buying tickets for them, and I actually spent around 550 euros on the events that I participated in. The most expensive one was the Commander and Cocktails event. That cost 200 euros. However, you did get 24 or so assorted boosters, a tiki mug that I didn't care that much about, and a cocktail ticket, and it was super fun. So the event was super fun. I actually met friends from Finland here from Vasa, where I live, and we were sitting together, building decks, chatting also with BDM a little bit, and that was a super cool event. Also on Friday morning, when the con just started, I joined the Commander at Home Rochester draft, and that was super fun. I especially liked how Olivia and Brian went around the whole rows of tables and talked to every individual participant of their event, signed cards, took photos. So that was super cool. And yeah, generally I really felt that the events were worth it. You also received for participating ticks, which I in the end then, I was quite late because I thought I'd take all my ticks in one go and then get what I want, but I was not calculating with how quickly things will be gone. So when I went there on Sunday afternoon, only collector boosters and play boosters were left, and that didn't bother me too much. So I grabbed a few Secrets of Strixhaven collector boosters as well as play boosters. So to move away from all the paid things, I do think you don't need to pay to play at MagicCon. I picked up probably around 10 friendly games in the comment zone with just random people, and it was super fun. It was really nice to meet all these different really nice people from as far away as Kuwait to Denmark to the Netherlands, Germany, Ireland, the United Kingdom. It was really super fun to play with so many different people, see so many different new decks and play styles. It was really inspiring and a lot of fun. So the events are not necessary, but if you participate, you get ticks, and with the ticks you can get stuff from the prize wall. And if you say, I'm happy to not go to the prize wall and just have fun with different kind of people and play Commander and maybe participate in some of the other free things that are available, and there are a lot of free things available at MagicCon, then you don't need to spend money on events. Speaking of free things, I went to see the Game Nights Live show, which was absolutely amazing. I love the Game Nights crew, and I even got to meet Rachel, Josh, and Jimmy at the meet and greet. That is something to talk about in a moment too, and it was just so fun to participate in Game Nights Live. The whole auditorium was full, the atmosphere was super fun. And then, yeah, when the Doom supporters from Josh were in their corner being Doom, 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 it was electrifying, the atmosphere over there. So definitely go and see Game Nights Live if you can. It's amazing, a really good experience. Other free things that you can participate in is the search for Fibble Tip. So you go and scan different kind of roll-ups throughout the venue, and when you have found all 8 of them, and they were not easy to find, then you got a nice Fibble Tip patch to sew on your backpack. Then there was the artist corner, where I sadly wasn't able to spend too much time because the lines were prohibitively long, and you already do stand quite a bit in line. This brings me back to the meet and greet. So I decided then on Saturday morning I want to go and meet Jimmy, Josh, and Rachel, and also try to meet the professor. And spoiler alert, I met both or all 4 of them. But this also meant that I was at around 7:15 in the morning, queuing up in the dedicated line for the meet and greet wristbands. So at 8:30 they let this dedicated wristband line in, and then you walk in an orderly manner inside, and then you queue up to get the wristbands so you can go to the meet and greet with the different Magic celebrities that are having these events. I was luckily so far in the front that I was able to get both a wristband for the professor and the Game Nights crew. And especially the Game Nights crew, I need to say, they were outstanding, so amazing. I've told them that I usually play with my son, but that he sadly wasn't able to make it. And then Josh just said, like, after we were done with signing, give me your phone, Hendrik. And I gave him my phone, a little bit perplexed. And then all 3 of them recorded a video for my son. This was so amazing. I really loved that. And my son also, of course, was super over the moon of getting a dedicated video from the Game Nights crew. one thing to keep in mind if you go to MagicCon is that you probably want to play a lot of Magic. I did bring 5 decks with me and actually only took 4 decks with me to the con, and I managed to play each of these 4 decks at least once. I think even 3 decks would have been sufficient, especially if it are 3 decks you're super passionate about, but I would not take more than 4 to the con, and this seems to actually be something that was the same opinion amongst everyone that I spoke with, that there were people that even had only 1 or 2 decks with them, and they felt this was enough, especially if you end up participating in commander events where you're building a commander deck, then it is really superfluous to carry 4 or 5 or more decks with you, because you will be building one over there, and in that sense you will have a completely new deck, and maybe you're super passionate about that and want to play that more during the con. So in terms of decks to take, I would not take more than 4. I think 3 is even enough. This then brings me to the last section of my MagicCon experience, the swag buying. I did buy quite a bit of swag, some of it in the official show store, so I was lucky enough to be able to grab a Festival in a Box Amsterdam. This again meant being at 8 something or so in my line, so I can be there in the official merch store line as far in the front as possible. And this was on the Sunday, which apparently is the day with the least amount of merch available, but I was lucky enough to pick up a box. I otherwise bought a few or maybe even too many sleeves, but they were really nice sleeves on offer. However, I do think they were quite pricey, with sleeves costing as much as 30 euros for 100 sleeves, and if you usually spend something like 10-12 euros for that amount of sleeves, then 30 euros is quite expensive. The worst thing that I bought were actually singles from one of the various vendors over there. It was Sunday towards closing time, and somebody said, yeah, this vendor has a lot of discounts, so I went to have a look, and yeah, I can pick up some of the Secrets of Strixhaven Mystical Archive Japanese cards that I'm collecting, and I actually did overpay significantly for these cards. So if I would have had gotten this FOMO, I could have saved, I think it was 35 euros that I overpaid. If I would have just made a quick check with Card Market what these cards are worth, then I would not have overpaid so badly as I did over there. So that is one of the few regrets I had, but other than that, I had no regrets. In the shopping department, I did spend around 500 euros on swag. So if you've been holding count, flights were 500, the events were 550, swag was 500, the ticket was around 350, and then I already bought some extra stickers and a shirt with the ticket. So summa summarum, I paid around 1,900 euros or closer to 2,000 euros for this trip to MagicCon Amsterdam. Now this is on the very high end, and remember, I did not pay for accommodation, so if you would stay there, as I did, for a few extra days, your accommodation fees probably would be, depending on what you are willing to invest, probably also around the 500 euros range, which could bring this kind of visit up to 2,500 euros if you're going on the more expensive side of the badges and so on and participate in events. However, there were lots of people that had just the basic weekend badge or the premium weekend badge, where you got some of the nicer promos with it and so on, a few boosters, and I think everybody had a great time. So if you are not having 2,000 euros to throw at MagicCon, you can probably do it a lot more affordable. And of course, if you live in Central Europe, you can travel by Flixbus or train to Amsterdam and save significantly, or maybe share a ride with friends. That will drop down the prices for transportation quite a bit. My overall reflection is I really loved MagicCon. I met so many wonderful people. My favorite creators, Krim, the Asian Avenger, Tomer and Phil of Brewer's Kitchen, or the MTV Goldfish crew. It was so cool to see them. Sadly, I didn't manage to play with them, so this is something to keep in mind for next year when I will be returning to MagicCon. And yes, as you can guess, I already have put down MagicCon Amsterdam as well as MagicCon Tokyo into my calendar, and I hope to be able to attend one, if not both of these events. It really was a great time seeing all the Magic celebrities, playing with people from across the world, our favorite game, and just being surrounded by so many wonderful people. So if you're on the fence and are wondering, is it worth it to go to MagicCon in 27 when it will take place in the beginning of December? My verdict is it definitely is. Put it into your calendar, start putting some money on the side, and once badges launch, go grab the badge that is most suitable for what you want, get your accommodation sorted, and then let's have a good time in Amsterdam or Tokyo next year. In that sense, thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you felt I forgot anything, please ask me in the comments and I will get back to you ASAP. And I really do hope to meet you in Tokyo or Amsterdam next year to play our favorite game.